and welcome to a Birds Like a Podcast draft update. Day 1 is done and dusted. Round 1 is finished. As announced by the great Jordan Mailata on the Gold Coast in Australia, the Philadelphia Eagles selected Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback from Toledo. My initial reaction is ecstatic. Howie wanted his man and got him. But the cherry on top was that we didn't have to move at all, which was the expectation if we wanted to get him in the first place. To get arguably the best cover corner in the draft at 22 overall is insanely good, and I'm blown away about how this all came together and how he slipped through the cracks. A bit of insight into Quinyon Mitchell. He's 6 foot, 195 pounds, ran a 4.33 40, 38-inch vertical, 10 foot 2-inch broad jump, 20 reps on the bench, squatted 550 pounds in practice. He had 6 interceptions in his college career, including 2 that were returned to the house. Didn't give up a single TD in coverage last season. And many were skeptical that this was because his competition wasn't that strong at Toledo, but he dominated at the Senior Bowl to prove a lot of people wrong. Looking at his strengths and weaknesses, we'll start with his weaknesses, as there's not many of them. Sometimes he does rely on his burst too often. Can be a touch slow on reacting to routes. Can declare his hips earlier than necessary as well, especially on the double moves. It can be a bit of an issue. But his strengths, he is a physical specimen. He's very built. He runs like a running back, covers like a corner, and hits like a linebacker. A very unique blend. He's got very quick feet and a burst that can close gaps quickly. This is especially important for when he does make mistakes. He usually doesn't let them turn into anything big. He has an excellent feel for the ball in the air and gets it at the highest point, often with a lot of, nail-biting pass breakups or getting to that ball and being able to reel it in for an interception. He also tackles very hard and finishes plays. Doesn't matter whether it's a wide receiver, a tight end, a running back. He wraps and finishes those tackles very strongly. And all of these combined make him a great special teams player, especially a gunner. He's quite quick, he can get off those blocks and he can get to the returner and be able to finish it nice and early. I think overall, Micah Parsons said it best when he said he was utterly disgusted that the Eagles drafted Mitchell. Say no more. If one of your biggest rivals hates the pick, it's got to be good. This was considered by many to be the highest of the draft so far, getting him at pick 22 when everybody had him mocked higher than that. I never saw him in a mock draft lower than 15, so to get him at 22 is quite significant. It was a very necessary pick as well, as we needed to get younger at corner, as both our starting corners last year were over 30. And it adds to a pretty deep cornerback group. We've still got Slay, Bradbury, even though he's coming off a very bad season. Maddox is back for another year. Isaiah Rodgers is off the exemption list. Still got Ringo and Ricks. This is a pretty deep group, and I think he adds to that. And personally, I think he probably ends up starting pretty early. I think his reaction with the fans said it all as well. He really looks happy to come to Philly. He was ecstatic, and I think Philly will embrace him just as well. And Howie, you did it again. Unbelievable how he's improved at drafting since his previous mistakes, like when he picked Rager over Jefferson and Arthur-Whiteside over DK Metcalf. Like, he's just found a way to really become a solid drafter. And on top of his ability with the cap, it's been brilliant. And that turnaround is why we've been able to remain competitive for quite a while. But yep, that's day 1 and round 1 of the draft wrapped up. Day 2 with rounds 2 and 3 tomorrow. I'll update then. Till then, go Birds.